Zacharias slowly thinks and then he says, the situation in the south is complicated. Many tribes, many people, and much conflict is currently ravaging the southern lands. The bugbears, as you noted, has headed south and are currently rampaging through the southlands. The leader of the mainlands, the king of House Darius, Darius, yeah,
Darius, yeah.
has taken to the field, and a grand battle awaits. The fate of the south will be decided there. We intend to tip that balance into our favor. As to your question of unification, he sort of gives a little shrug. Personally, I do not seek to unite the land under me. What I seek is something far greater.
He frowns at this translation, but not slightly. He says, as you get the message back from the translator, that the White Tusk wishes that you come to him with a feast this evening, where these matters may be discussed more. Until then, he wishes that you are shown around this village, and that you are shown what the people of Utak can offer.
Zacharias responds back that they would be delighted to do so.
Tell White Tusk. Well, then nod, and, gesture for you to follow.
We brought some wine from the south.
Yes.
Hey, that's my wine.
There's also wine inside his
What? Is Raidu saying something to the lords about the
No.
wine?
No.
Well, Chiron would step forward and say, we also offer a gift of our finest drinks. He isn't actually sure what's in the barrel, but he's just going to offer that anyway.
It was meat and wine.
Turns and sort of looks and then translates to White Tusk, who looks at him and says, and you get the translation back that shall be brought to the feast. He
Good.
gestures for some of his warriors clearly to go take it.
In your face.
I found carrying 7 barrels of wine.
There's quite a few of them. Take them
It's
up.
not 7, it was 5.
The barrels are multiplying.
So many barrels.
Keep inflating your number that makes them more impressed.
They take them with them.
We brought 14 half barrels of wine. What?
He was also asked if you have anything that you would prefer not to carry with you.
Not really.
Hutch looks at himself, he just gave the barrel away, so now he's not carrying anything other than his weapons.
This White Tusk will take leave, leaving you with Joseph and some warriors.
Right.
Clearly like a honor guard or escort.
Sure.
As Joseph begins to show you around
They have a dog.
the dog training areas for their sled dogs.
Is it a husky?
It is like a
Oh.
dog sled dogs.
Zacharias'
shows
secret
you-
weakness.
He shows you the whalebone graveyard,
Mm-hmm.
which is like a huge place where clearly whales have been dragged up on the ice, most likely by many men, and here they have been cut open so that their bones lie here. You can see they've been cut. It seems to here that they cut out bone chips to make tools and such out of.
Sure.
They show you also a larger camp down the other side of the hill, sort of in shade, shielded from the winds and the rains and whatnot comes from the sea. It seems to be actually quite a large amount of people. A small city, if you will.
Well, they certainly seem to have grown since we met them. Zacharias will sort of muse to Chiron.
You also see a few of these people who do seem to have very shiny, mithril-tipped spears.
That is so cool.
Do
They
they?
seem to be carrying the banners.
Ah, of course, yes.
You see there's a marketplace. There's goods from Talingard, like clothes and whatnot. Clearly, these are most likely from raids to the south.
Of course.
They really seem to have raided quite a lot. There's some armor and such as well. Some people awkwardly wearing some of it.
Do they seem to have slaves?
They do not seem to have slaves.
would Sakurai like seeing the boneyard? Would he be like, could I rest that as like a bloody whale skeleton?
Probably not currently. They're all too chipped it and sort of pulled apart, basically, for the best parts.
Oh,
But
so
if
good.
they brought up a new one, he probably could.
Oh, this undead whale swimming about. That would be so funny. Anyway,
You're shown around, sort of anything. At the end, he shows you the Totem Forest, which is a large area with actual wood and sort of stone and boned, almost totem poles. They're sort of tall poles, but there's not really much carvings in them, except at the very top there's some sort of face or some sort of hand gesture or some sort of symbol of significance. None of them seem to be alike, and there are many.
Sakurai will ask Joseph, inclining on the totems, and ask for an explanation.
Oh, he will say that these are the different tributes brought from each of the clans that have been brought under the white tusks,
Ah,
and that these represent the different people's spirits. They each have one, and each of them has a shaman, as he is the shaman of the white tusks. This represents basically their submission, and so that all the spirits in the world may see that these spirits now serve the white tusk as his subordinates. Their power is his power. He introduces some of them, like there's the moon spirit, there's the spirit of the wolves, of the bears, many different animals, whales. There's spirits of ivory, there's spirits of different types of rock. Almost anything you can imagine, really.
Sakurai will listen. His academic mind and curiosity is sort of taking over a bit, and forgetting some of the worries, and he will listen, asking some questions and trying to learn a bit more. He will also like put an eye to Joseph himself and try to sort of evaluate him as a spellcaster, like try to in a Dragon Ball Z type of way to measure his power level, basically. If he seems able to conjure forth like spells and how powerful, like basically try to get a feel
He
for it.
certainly carries himself like a spellcaster. He also has what seems to be some sort of fur component pouch. And a spear. It's kind of hard to gauge how potent he is. He doesn't really know what kind of magic he would use. Certainly doesn't carry a spell book with him.
Yes, well, I guess Sakurai knows about druidic magic.
Yeah, it's not very used by civilized people in Telangard. It's something that you kind of know, some barbarian art.
Yeah, shamanism.
Kind of frowned upon, as most magic, even if it is divine.
Yeah, it's the wrong kind of divine, of course. So it would
Yes. Kind of an embarrassment that someone can do it without worshipping them.
be. Yes, indeed.
You will show up more, even like the weapon yards, where you see different kinds of weapons being hammered out, and clearly like all sorts of scrap metal has been brought here to be refined and turned mostly into spear tips and harpoons. It seems.
Sakurai
Seem to be happy with their shell armor.
will look over to Chiron and say, "Well, you're the warrior, Chiron. Do they look proficient to you?"
I hardly know much about weapon skills, so I'm afraid I don't work quite that way, as you may well know.
But you are certainly a man to gauge another man's prowess in battle, yes?
Karen nods at this. How proficient do they look to Chiron's mind?
Their warriors seem, decently proficient, certainly. They're clearly trained soldiers. Although it seems like most of them are more like hunters who would then basically go to war as sort of an off-time thing. The few with the mithril and such seem to be full-time warriors, though, something that probably is not seen much in this culture. Differently from normal people, though, it seems that everyone here could fight. They're sort of hardened by the land they live in, and although they mostly use a very lightly armored, they seem that would be a very mobile force, capable of sort of striking and getting away in a matter of minutes. Also, not wearing metal armor clearly aids in this perspective.
Chiron will explain this insight to Zacharias and also add that anyone who survives in this icy coldness is probably one of the stronger ones, since this land seems like a land that doesn't allow weakness.
Zacharias nods. Good. That is what we want in allies, indeed. As he stands tall in the icing gale, not even noticing it.
Your element is running.
Tick, 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 tick. Yeah, Zacharias will certainly make himself, as pleasant as he can towards Joseph, ask questions and answer anything in return.
Sure. Joseph doesn't seem to ask questions. He seems to be suspicious, though, clearly gauging the lot of you.
So Zacharias will try to, disarm his misgivings to the best of his ability.
Mm-hmm.
Which is fairly decent. He doesn't want to lie to the man. But he will,
Zacharias on his best behaviour.
Yeah, this is as good as Zacharias ever behaves.
Sure. He will also take you to what seems to be a system of caves, ice caves. And it is, he will actually tell that this city you're currently in is newly made. Usually this is a holy place where people don't really go. But the White Tusk is a young and great warrior who is very unbothered by traditions.
And what do you think of that irreverence for tradition, Joseph?
He answers, I support our great king in his decisions.
Zacharias nods. I
Not
see.
really elaborating on it.
I see. Yes, well, I do agree with the with the king's decision as well. Tradition is all well and good, but if you truly want to achieve greatness, tradition must at times be broken.
Gives a slight frown. He continues, showing the caves and telling you about the history of this clan and such. Well, this goes on for a little while. Basically, he's sticking to you. If you ask to go somewhere, he'll follow you.
Of course.
What does
Not really being allowed to be alone.
what does Grumplejack look like? Does he look bored or annoyed?
Jack.
Yo, Jake! What's up, my man?
Jake.
Goddamn mute button. So what?
How does Grumplejack look with all this walking around looking at caves and...
Oh, he's very bored.
Can you imagine he has the... Does he have the same look on his face as at the picture?
Jake.
Jay, can we even keep you here for that long?
Oh, this is kind of sad. Kind of
On to the
hilarious.
next person.
Grumplejack is blankly staring at space, drooling. Like, oh.
So it seems like everyone of our... Oh, Jake is disconnected, that's why.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, Grumblejack certainly doesn't seem particularly interested.
On the bright side, he's not freezing cold because Trick gave endure elements.
It is thinking,
He has already resisted cold 10, so I think he's kind of immune to it.
looking a little bit forward to the feast.
Oh, I'm sure he does.
Even with this cold 10, you still feel cold.
And Zacharias will certainly give him that icy annihilation look, basically telling him, you better behave.
Doesn't say anything. In the evening, you're brought to basically a large wooden hall, sort of dug down a little bit, about a meter down in the ground, with sort of stones put out, where there is put up a long table. Again, wood seems to be a luxury up here. You're basically placed with, not really plates as much as just sort of flat pieces of bone. Very fine, must be. Certainly these would sell nicely back in Tigard. And well, you were served up with large chunks of what seems to be white blubber,
Oh,
mainly.
delicious.
Besides
Oh.
that, however, there is also a lot of shellfish. What seems to be crab claws and
Oh, we should have brought Halthus.
really pretty much just seafood.
Aw.
Oh god, seafood. Kyron is going to look miserable.
Oh, poor Kyron.
Well,
Besides that, there is one type of non-seafood which seems to be dog.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Roasted.
well, Raju will eat some of all of it. Is there alcohol?
We kind of brought barrels
They
in.
don't have alcohol. It doesn't
Yeah,
seem-
maybe they didn't bring that. Maybe they
They
brought some of their
have
own.
taken the barrels, but they don't seem to make their own, really.
Alright. It's probably
Oh.
valuable then.
As expected.
Well, Raju will do that too.
You have water, what seems to be some sort of berry juice.
Mm.
It's heated,
Oh, how nice.
sort of crimson red.
That's like rice. We'll eat a little bit of everything, picking through the shellfish and stuff. Being actually quite adept at peeling it and eating it and stuff. He seems to have some experience with it actually.
Notice over in a past life, he was a shellfish cook.
It's like rice. It's like a rice enjoys his seafood.
White Tusk has a dagger. The others seem to have daggers as well. So small knives, maybe even specialized for opening these. These are put quickly, make a cut, and then the things simply fall apart, and they sort of just eat the inside.
Yeah, Zacharias observes and tries to duplicate the feat.
A little knife has been placed next to his plate, and it actually is quite easy once he gets the idea.
I'm just imagining Raju opening him up, but he's pretty strong. He's still really strong, even though he's medium sized now and a female.
Yes.
So he just
Cracks it open.
Rumblejack
Kyron?
eats them with the shells.
Yeah,
Of
Kyron.
course.
Just like, why bother?
Oh, I am surrounded by.
So 3 of them are sophisticated, 2 of them
Hey.
are being...
is Trick not from here? Actually,
No,
where was it he was from? He's from the north
he's
too.
land outside of Talongard.
I thought it was from the north too.
I was the leader of his group was from north. I think the white lady.
They were outsiders.
Oh, okay.
Outside of the Talongard Islands.
Okay.
Brought in. But, yeah. I mean, depending on what you like, the food is good. Do any of you try the large sort of plate in the middle of the table of whale blubber?
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
we can't escape that. It would be dishonorable.
They seem, to
Well,
eat it with
Blubber
salt.
or death.
Blubber death.
They seem to eat it with salt.
Alright.
And, you will actually get the name of the whale. Apparently, they named it.
Oh,
What?
I mean, if it gives that much bounty, it probably has like an honorific or something for it.
What's it called?
Bobby the
something
whale.
weird.
What?
Charlie the
Something-
whale.
Bobby. I think that's a good whale name.
Bobby.
As you eat, sort of after you're finished, and he's clearly satisfied with his food, he'll sort of look to you, or placed in front of him, sort of on the other side of the table. Doesn't really seem there is a high table or such. He just sits among his men. And you've been placed over there, so you're in a conversation range. He will then sort of look to Joseph, and Joseph will ask what exactly you want. You wanted to have some people brought back to the living. Is this against their will?
Zacharias, she said, no, it is not. They are part of our group, and we are quite focused and engaged in our campaigns in the south. Their death was untimely and an act of cowardly assassination by our enemies. To bring them back is, to all intents and purposes, their highest wish.
To bring them back makes them part of our land. That is, of course, understood. If you do not wish just information from them, you wish them to stay in this form for a long time, then?
Yes, we want them back as flesh and blood to walk with us again and fight our battles.
And that is your only requirement.
Zacharias corks an eyebrow. That depends. We would like them back in their original form, if possible. They are quite attached to said forms and would, I think, rather not be cast as anything else.
Talks to Whitehurst. They speak a little between themselves, and Whitehurst seems to be rather insistent on something. While Joseph seems to be urging caution, or something like that. As he then looks back and says, such can be done, however it requires quite the extensive amount of materials. If you were fine with any body made of flesh and blood, that would be much easier.
How much materials are required for the more precise?
Well, we can list some things, including salt, pearls, ivory, incense, smoke, and just salt water. Really, it comes up to the price of 20,000 gold pieces.
Per person?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
He says that if you wished simply any body, one would not have to be specifically made to specifications and such. The spirits could do it themselves, meaning that simply 1,000 gold pieces to placate them would be enough.
Right. Basically, this is the difference between reincarnation and true resurrection.
Yep.
Well, that I basically throw out to those who are dead, I suppose. We currently have...
By the way, in Gaston Hall,
yeah.
you also found the money in the
Oh, good.
from the crown.
That means we have quite a bit of money in the pile. My suggestion then is that we split the pile equal among the party, and everyone can decide what they want to do with their money. You know, if you want to pay for the full resurrection, then you do so, and if you're happy to roll the dice and be whatever, you can pay. You can pay for that. With
How much
1,000.
do we get each? Splitting it?
We currently, if we sell everything we have in the pile, which is a lot of items and masterwork, longswords and armors and mirrors and art. We have a pile of art.
Where do we get all that art from?
We looted it from the, I
From the
think,
church.
yeah, from the church.
As well as
cheaper.
copper pans.
And we have copper pans. We have currently 85,000 in the pile with the 50,000 brought by the Baroness.
We're splitting that 4 ways because Jake doesn't exist.
Well, we'll split it 5 ways because I'm pretty sure Jake will need similar amounts of money, maybe.
That would
Well-
basically be 17,000 each.
Well,
17,000
that's
each.
not enough to get it through.
Well, you did have money on you and on your character, right? Maybe. you
Something to consider is that you can use a wish spell, I believe, to get your
Yes, there has been
original
true,
form
which
back
was a level
at any
9
time.
spell.
Yeah, it's a level 9 spell.
I'm just saying it is a possibility.
Or a miracle, technically, which means, eventually when Azura's reach maximum power.
In the meantime, Cash does not want to be some human or whatever she's gonna.
Bugbear.
Do you have the additional 3,000 on cash to pay for a full?
I'm checking.
I already have my answer, so.
So, good news.
What?
Currently, the only portion of my internet that works is the ability to connect to Skype calls.
Congratulations.
Alright.
Phantom Scope works again.
I need 100 gold.
That can be supplied, I think.
That can be supplied, yes.
I have 2,913.
But then let's see. We will split the pile then. Split 5 ways. That is 17,000 gold, 17,167 gold and 4 silver each.
Wait, how much on the side was that?
Can you
I got
write it down?
17,000.
Yep.
How much was sheep off by? 167.
I 7.
Do you want me to send you the number, Jake?
Yeah, I needed a. Thank you.
So, oh, sorry. So we're gonna get 167 too.
That's everyone's getting that total amount of money.
Everyone add that to your character sheets. That's the amount of money you get.
Then there is just enough. I'll get 80 gold after that. I have 80 gold left.
White Tusk is looking at you sort of very intrigued, waiting for your response. Clearly excited. The prospect.
Then with that split up, I will empty the pile.
No, our money.
Well, Cash has
So Cash
money.
wants her actual body.
Yes, she wants her body and no one other else.
To get things clear, what I assume is that, I mean, all you have your character monies, basically that's your personal bank accounts, and yeah, you spend it as you wish. I mean, I don't know, Marcus probably has a whole bunch of money now, but I mean, probably gonna need like 20,000 or something to bring him back as well, I'm guessing. But that shouldn't be a problem, right, Jake?
Yeah, I've got like 32,000 right now.
Good.
Apparently, I might be winning the money race.
Possibly, yes. I've spent a lot of my money on other things.
I have 42k.
Oh, wow.
Alright, good for you.
Okay.
I'm
So
not
you can die
20K.
twice more and get
Yeah,
the
you
same-
can
get the same body weight.
keep dying. Oh.
I will be spending 20k on resurrection.
Alright, so for Cash, we will have her true form.
Azurius, let the dice roll.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Yep.
What if you...
I
are-
approve.
Oh, jeez.
What if
Mental
you-
stats aren't changed though. So
Mental stats are not changed.
his
What if
physical
you
form
turn
doesn't
into
really
a
matter. Actually.
kobold or...
So then
Let
he'll
the
be a
dice
kobold.
roll.
That's
Alright.
a great plot hook, go for it.
Yeah. Oh,
By the way, it
Just
gives me another
will-
objective. It gives me the objective to
As you
get
say
Kate Wish
that
so I can
you
turn
want
back.
one of them to be in the condition, Joseph will inform you that currently the tribe does not have enough to do two full bodies in their stores. That would take them a few months to gather the required materials for two of such doings.
yeah, but we only require one, so...
Oh god.
Will again stress that these people will be bound to the spirits who grant them their wishes. That there will be some minor consequences.
I'm sure they won't mind.
There's a question
What?
ask such at. What would an example of these consequences be?
That depends on the spirits. Right now, this clan has so very many that the possibilities are almost endless.
Chris quirks a smile and nods to say, let it be so then. These people needs to be brought back.
Oh no.
Glad I don't have to rely on this stuff. Seems
What
really
if it's
fishy.
something like Cash is gonna
Cash gets like the whale spirit.
be...
You
Shut
have to
your
take
mouth.
a
Like
bath
every-
every
every-
day.
She
Yeah,
can shoot
and
blubber.
Every other word
Shut
she
your
says
mouth.
is like.
I will say then that this shall be done tonight.
Yay!
That's the White Tusk saying that.
Excellent.
He will also thank you for the maps. He has looked them over and he's most impressed with their accuracy.
Excellent.
Our accuracy, of course, because we made them.
We brought them. That's good enough. That's good enough. Well, having that sorted, that's excellent. I suppose we will, party, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, right,
we
you
are
got party.
They
feasting.
do play
so-
what seems to be whalebone flutes
Oh,
and some sort of long metal horns.
Do they have
It's
card
sort of
games?
wailing sound.
during the evenings, guys will try to pry more of like the more long-term plans of out of White Tusk, like
He'll gladly talk.
Yeah.
Just sitting down for a strategic conversation, he'll say that the people of the Utak have long been plagued by the South because they haven't been strong enough. The weapons have been too weak. They have not had shields, and their The warfare has only been to raiding parties. Now, however, with the North so emptied out of monsters, this is a chance for them to establish permanent holdings there,
Good, good.
to spread his people further. And so he has first united them all to direct them to the place he needs them. He hopes to see much of the northern coast connected, and to have, well, more raids to the south for equipment and such. Although hopefully he would wish trading, it does not seem to be a possibility at the moment. He's taking advantage of the chaos.
Of course, of course. Yeah, it doesn't really, doesn't really bother Zacharias. He can do whatever he wants with the North, honestly. As long as Telengard suffers, Zacharias is happy.
At some point, Talingard, the south, will no longer have the ability to bully the north. And
Well,
they will
that's
come
good.
up here to punish them for their raids, or to counter-raid them, and they will find a force too strong for them to deal with.
That's good. Does he seem to plan an actual conquest of all of Telengard, or does he just want to?
No, it seems to be mostly just raiding campaigns at the moment.
Yeah, that's
He doesn't seem to care about conquest of the whole thing. It seems that seems clearly to be unrealistic. The south to him is basically like a larder
sure.
to dip his hands into.
That's fine. That is quite fine.
Simple ambitions, but ambitions nonetheless.
Indeed, we can respect that. Alright, well,
Yes.
I guess I will add a rest.
So we do the reincarnation thing for both of them tonight?
That is the idea.
Okay. So we don't rest before that, I would assume.
You are asked to specify the people in detail to a group of what must be some sort of shamans.
Oh, Zacharias will describe them down to the most
I would
minor
like-
detail.
I would like Trick to do that.
Oh, when it comes to, I'm sure
Anyone
Trick.
should like to do so.
Yeah, Trick is probably the best to describe Cash.
Yes.
And Assyrians.
Zacharias and Azirius have spent a lot of time in the crafting room together.
Yeah, Zacharias will describe Asurius.
Sure.
Chiron will help.
you know, Zacharias had long talks about our backstories and
Yeah, we bonded a bit. We had wine on the roof.
You are allowed to stay for the ritual. It seems that it'll be done in the very end of the cave system.